Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Thanks for joining me. Now today for my Try It Out Tuesday, I want to try out a few new products. One of them is the Pure Innocence I Heart You stamp set. It's just a small stamp set, but it's adorable. So I'm going to make a card using this, and I did get the coordinating die. And then also, I've been dying to get my hands on this, and I'm so glad I got it. It is the Mini Cloud Edges stencil, so I'm going to be using that as well. But one new thing I want to share with you is the stamp platform. Now I've been wanting a larger stamp platform for a while, and I love my Mini Misty, don't get me wrong. I think it's the perfect size and it works so well for me, especially when I'm not a very standalone stamper. I always mess up my sentiments. But I wanted a larger one, and this one is 8.5 by 8.5. So I really like the size, and I thought I'd give this a go. And it was less expensive than a larger Misty. So I thought I would share what I thought about it with you. So this is the first time ever using it, and I was really happy with the quality. It's very heavy, which is really nice. So I added my bar magnet and a piece of white cardstock, and we're going to do our stamping on this. I'm going to grab this little gal, cute little gal. She's holding a card. I'm going to place her on my white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp her using my Memento ink. And before we do that, this plate comes out, and you can flip it over for a rubber stamp or for a clear stamp. You just have to make sure that it's on the right side. So I'm putting it to the clear stamp side. I'm going to stick my little stamp on there, and then I'm going to add my ink, and I'm going to stamp her. Now you'll notice that when I first stamped her, she didn't stamp very well, but it wasn't the press's fault. It was actually my magnet. My bar magnet is pretty thick, I guess you could say, and so it I might have to just end up using my little circle magnets for this one. That bar magnet was just a little bit too thick for this. So I'm going to stamp it one more time just to show you. If you do add a little bit more pressure, it'll stamp really nice. So far I was really happy with this little larger stamp press. I'll leave links below to where I found all these products. This stamp press I actually got at scrapbook.com, and I got a great price on it. It was on sale, and then I had a coupon, so I really was happy with the price point on this. Also, this little orange wipey thingy, what I had did is, my husband likes these chamois from the dollar store to clean his car off, and so I stole one of his, and I cut it into 8 pieces, and I wet it down, and I used that to clean off my stamps. Usually I use baby wipes, but I thought I'd try something different, and so I've been happy with that little chamois. So you might want to check that out too. Next time you're at the dollar store, pick up one of those little chamois. It works really good. But I'm just adding some washi tape to my magnets just for easy picker-upping. And so I'm really happy. You'll be seeing me use this stamp press often. So I just thought I'd share that with you, a little tidbit. If you're thinking about getting a stamp press, I think this is a really nice one. So we're going to set that aside. I did notice, well, the back has a little grip, which is nice so it doesn't shift. And then on the plate, the inside, the clear stamp side is real smooth, but the top has a little bit of texture. And I guess it helps with the rubber stamps, but I really like it. Okay, we're going to just jump in and get started with our card. I'm going to use my alcohol markers to color her skin in, and then to color her hair and the shoes in. She has some really rosy cheeks, but they'll fade out. This is the only pink that I have with the alcohol marker, so I always have to work with it a little bit. So she has a little bit of a rosy cheeks, but that's okay. I think she looks adorable. Now for her dress and for the card that she's holding, I decided to use a paper pad from my stash. I haven't used the paper pads in a while, and so I really love my paper pads. So I'm just going to take the coordinating die and cut her out, and then grab my paper pad. The paper pad that I'm going to be using is a really old one. I think the date on it was a 2012, but it's paper don't go, well, my paper doesn't go old. I think it's a really nice paper pad with a lot of nice color, so I thought it would work perfect for this card. It's from Prima, and I really like it. I just grabbed some papers that I thought would coordinate well for my card that I'm going to be doing today. I wanted to use some pinks and some soft background. Now, I'm grabbing one of my rectangle dies. This is a scallop rectangle die from MFT. I'm going to cut out a panel. And that paper, actually, the inside has grid lines along with a little bit of distressing. Actually, most of the papers have a little bit of distressing on them. So I really like that. I grabbed a border die, and I'm going to cut out a little hill for her to stand on. But you'll notice that when I put, well, I wanted this card to be kind of on the feminine side, so I took that scallop die, and I'm going to run that bottom part of my hill through my Big Shot. And then I thought, while I'm at it, I'm going to take this pattern paper, and I want an itty bitty scallop on it, so I'm going to put that on the side here, and I'm going to run that all through together. I love that scallop on there, and you'll see what I do with that later on. But for my little heel, I thought it just adds a little bit more femininity, I guess, to a card with the scallop on the bottom. So that's what I did there. Okay, we're going to set that aside. And then this pattern paper I'm going to use for my background. So I have a stitch rectangle die here, and I'm going to cut out a panel. Now I'm just going to grab the card base that I'm going to be using. I'm using a standard size A2 card base. And this is like a taupe color, but I wanted to show you, this panel is just gonna leave a little bit of that border on it. So I cut that out, and then now we're gonna do some paper piecing here. This pattern paper has an alphabet on it, and I thought it'd be cute for the card that she's holding. So I'm just gonna take my ink, and I wanna ink up just the card that she's holding. And I'll stamp that. And just for added interest and add a little fun element, I decided to fold that, and then using my bone folder, I'm going to score it, and then I'm going to cut it out. Now what this is going to do is going to give me basically a little folding card, and I thought that would be so cute for her to be holding that. I'm going to cut it out carefully here, just using my scissors. And then I have my little card, a functioning card, I guess you could say. And then you could add a little cute little message inside there. Then I thought that would be real sweet. I'm just going to take some glue and glue that top piece on the inside. That way it looks a little bit more finished. And that's it for the little card, which is so cute. I love cutesy little cards, so lovely. We're going to put that right there. And then now we're going to work on her dress. For her dress, I'm going to just use the same ink, and I'm going to stamp it on this piece of cards or pattern paper here, which is not really a pattern. It's almost a solid color with a slight distressing to it. So I'm just going to cut that out, set that aside. And then I have this is a floral pattern paper. I'm going to make this her skirt. So I'm going to ink up her skirt and stamp that. Just cut that out there. And then I wanted a similar color for the heart that's on that card. So inside one of the flowers has little loopies. So I'm just going to stamp my heart on the inside of that loopy flower. That way I get the loops on the heart. I'm going to cut everything out. So she's going to be wearing a cute little girly dress. Okay, now we're going to piece everything together. I popped up this little heart with some foam tape, and I placed it right on top of the heart that we stamped. And then I'm adding, this is my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I'm going to add a little bit to the base here, and then add my card. Now I think I added a little too much glue because it kind of ran out, and as it did that, it smeared my ink a little bit, so you want to be careful. Maybe go light on the glue. I'm just going to add some glue to her shirt here. I love paper piecing. I think it's so fun. Just I guess reminds me of paper dolls. Then I'm going to add her skirt. Okay, now my little gal's done, all except for that little heart up there in her hair. I did forget to color in that, so I just grabbed my pink alcohol marker and colored that in. And she's all set to go. So we're going to set her aside and we're going to work on our panel. Well, we're going to actually work on our sentiment. I'm taking the same color cardstock that I'm going to use for my card base. And then I'm going to just, stamp the sentiment that says I heart you. And I'm going to use some VersaFine ink for my sentiment here. MFT had a really big sale last week, or maybe it was a week and a half ago, but I purchased quite a few things, and so you get free with 60. This die set came with it. It doesn't have a name on it, but it makes really perfect sentiment. It's a sentiment die, so I thought I'd use that. I'm just going to stick that scalloped edge piece of paper right next to the sentiment, and I'm going to cut that whole thing out. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm going to make a fancy tag. I often did this in the past, and I haven't did it in a long time, so I thought I'd show you how I do this. I just trim off the sentiment cardstock, and then I fold it in half, placing that, and I'm going to glue that hanging over part right behind it. And then I have this cutesy little tag. I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile, and I'm going to punch a hole, and then I'm going to add an eyelet. This is like almost a gold color, and I'm just gonna add that, and then I have my little custom tag, and I think it looks so cute. I had this on my desk. This is some real thin natural jute cord. I'm just gonna tie a bow with that. And there's my fancy little tag. So we're going to put that on there. Okay. I think this is where I'm going to go in with my mini cloud edge stencil. Now I'm so excited I get to try this. I'm going to use some Distress Oxide ink. This is Broken China. And I'm very lightly going to go over just the edges of that stencil and creating a cloud background. I know that MFT has a larger one, but I prefer the smaller ones because most of my scenes are smaller, and so I just love this. And I'll leave the links below where you can find it. Pretty inexpensive, and it's a very versatile tool here. If you flip it over, you can make waves with it, which is pretty neat too. Okay, I have my little, I love that. I have my little cloud background. Okay, now I think we're going to build our card. Now first off, I'm going to pop up my little hill with some foam tape. Place that in the bottom. And I did lift it up a little bit so you could see the white edge of the scallop on the bottom. And then I'm going to do the same thing to my little girl. And place her on my panel here. Love that. I'm going to pop up my sentiment, add that, and then I added foam tape to the back of this panel, and I'm placing it on my pattern paper here. Lovely. I think it looks very soft and very, very cutesy. So I'm just going to add my, using my glue runner, just add that to my card base. And basically that's my little scene. Now I wanted to add a little bit of course, bells and whistles. And so I grabbed my sequins, and my sequins I have these itty bitty iridescent hearts. And I wanted them to kind of be floating kind of out of her card that you can open up. I wanted to show you the colors. The colors are neat because they kind of take on the color of the paper behind it. And so I'm just going to use my glue and add a few dots here and there. And then kind of arrange my little hearts. I arranged them coming out of my little card. And then also a little on the bottom towards my sentiment. Now if you don't have heart sequins, if you have a little mini heart die, it would be perfect for this too. There we have it. Now I'm just going to take a piece of foam tape and close up my my little card. Now I just did this so I could take pictures. So after I did that, I'm going to go in with some glossy accents to the heart on the card, and then the little heart that's in her hair. And then when I use my alcohol markers on my little gal, my image, it kind of faded them a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, I have, these are Nuvo crystal drops, and this is ebony black, but I didn't trust myself. I'm just dabbing the top of this little bottle on her eyes. So I'm using my craft pick, and I squeeze a little bit on scratch paper, and I'm just adding some to her eyes and then to her nose and mouth, just to make them stand out a little bit nicer. And that's it. That's my card. So I hope you had gets inspired. You know, this gives you another idea for card making. I just love my little tag on the bottom. I think it's just adorable. I thank you so much for stopping by. If you like this tutorial, give me a thumbs up. And if you're new and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. That way you can see all the videos that I come out with. I wish you a lovely day, and I thank you so much again. Bye-bye.